During World War II, soldiers were often forced to rely on more than just standard-issue gear. Survival wasn't always about what the army supplied, but about tricks learned in the field, passed between men, and, well, sometimes frowned upon or outright banned by military command. These methods were brutally effective, but many were considered just too dangerous, too unsanctioned, or maybe even too resourceful for their own good. Today on Strange History, we're uncovering 8 World War II soldier survival tricks that were deadly effective but eventually forbidden. The first survival trick involved improvised booby traps made from ration tins and grenades. Soldiers discovered that empty food cans could be strung with wire or filled with stones to make crude alarms, or even hold a grenade pin in place. This gave them a way to secure perimeters in forests or ruined cities, but it was incredibly risky. A misstep could trigger the trap, and honestly, kill the very men who set it. Commanders later discouraged the practice because it was just too unpredictable, but for many soldiers, it was a way to stay alive when patrols were stretched thin. Another banned method was using enemy uniforms to slip behind lines. Desperate soldiers would strip captured gear or jackets to blend in and scout ahead. While undeniably effective, this practice was considered a war crime under the Geneva Convention and could lead to immediate execution if caught. Yet, in the chaos of the battlefield, men sometimes took the risk to gather intelligence or escape encirclement. History rarely highlights this, but soldiers knew it was one of the fastest ways to gain an edge until higher command clamped down on it. The third trick was mixing morphine with alcohol to create a sedative strong enough to knock out pain or fear during long marches. Medics frowned upon this because overdoses were common, but some men swore it helped them keep moving despite wounds or exhaustion. While it gave temporary relief, it dulled reflexes and could prove fatal. Military doctors eventually banned soldiers from carrying both substances together unless carefully monitored. Still, in the field, it was a desperate survival cocktail. The fourth method was, well, lighting fires with gunpowder scraped from bullets. Soldiers discovered that the powder would ignite even in damp conditions, which gave them a way to cook food or keep warm in the rain. But, handling live ammunition like this often caused accidental explosions. It was deadly effective in the short term, but just way too hazardous to be allowed. Manuals later warned troops against tampering with cartridges, though, honestly, many still did when frostbite or hunger was knocking at the door. Another trick involved stretching rations by eating things considered unsafe. Soldiers boiled leather straps, chewed on grass, or even fried insects to keep their energy up. While these practices could stave off starvation, they often led to dysentery or poisoning. Military command eventually banned the use of non-ration food sources, fearing illness would take out more men than hunger itself. Still, countless veterans admitted they survived long nights in foxholes by bending this rule. The sixth survival method was the creation of improvised silencers. Using socks, rags, or even water-filled bottles, soldiers could dampen the sound of their weapons for surprise attacks. This was never officially sanctioned because it altered military equipment and was highly unreliable, sometimes even causing barrels to burst. Yet when stealth meant life or death, soldiers took the chance. It was effective, but once again, far too dangerous to remain allowed. Another banned trick was using enemy corpses for camouflage. As grim as it sounds, soldiers learned that lying close to fallen men could hide them from enemy patrols or aerial reconnaissance. It provided an instant shield in open terrain, but carried obvious psychological tolls. Commanders forbade the practice, labeling it dishonorable, but veterans later confessed that in moments of desperation, it saved them from being spotted and killed. The final survival trick was the hoarding of unauthorized weapons. Soldiers often picked up enemy pistols, knives, or explosives and kept them hidden. This gave them backup options if they ran out of ammunition or became separated from their unit. Official policy demanded that captured weapons be turned in immediately, but many men ignored the rule. For them, having an extra weapon wasn't greed, it was survival insurance. These 8 methods show the lengths soldiers went to when official tactics weren't enough. They reveal a side of the war that was raw, resourceful, and often unspoken. The fact that so many of these tricks were banned tells us they worked, but also that they came with consequences too severe to ignore. Survival in World War II wasn't just about bravery on the battlefield. It was about ingenuity, and sometimes breaking the very rules meant to keep order. If you found this glimpse into the hidden survival strategies of World War II fascinating, don't let it end here. Hit that subscribe button, share this video with friends, and join us again on Strange History as we uncover the stories that textbooks left behind.